Yo, imagine that you are walking in a hot empty desert, and suddenly you see a big lake. Wow, thank God for the blessing, but where did this lake come from? Or imagine that you look up and see a building on top of a rock column, or even that you are surprised by a mountain of electronic games. Look at this strange life. I will tell you everything about strange things that people found out of nothing, but first, my mood here, and don't forget to like because it helps me a lot. Come on, let me and I beg you. One of the friends was walking in an old forest in Germany. This forest in particular, they used to play in it in their childhood. Two friends named Carl and Adele, and suddenly the two friends noticed two strange tubes coming out of the ground. What are these? Are they for surveillance or espionage or even a strange trap? So they asked these questions and walked a little and left. After about 91 meters, they found an underground entrance, so they decided to enter. As soon as they entered, they found long and scary corridors, as if they were from a horror movie. Shoots. They were supposed to get out quickly. They didn't go inside more and more until they discovered broken doors and suspicious writings on the walls. So what? Quickly get out. Why else? May God guide them. At the end, they found a room flooded with water, and inside it was a strange abandoned machine. She said, "What is this? Is it a time machine?" That's what you ask the Germans. In German, you use violence, but no, the place turned out to be a secret hideout that the Soviets used during the Cold War, and the large tank that was there used to pump air and water inside to the Soviets. Of course, the broken doors were the ones they removed when they abandoned the shelter, and the mysterious pipes are just air vents. It's like an old Soviet air conditioner. The desert is empty and there's nothing in it, and there are no people, right? Wrong. Because a million crazy things were found in the desert. But the strangest thing is that some of them were found via Google Maps. What does that mean? We get it, my mood. I mean, once there were two very idle young men looking at a Chinese desert on Google Maps. Idleness. But suddenly they saw this mysterious pattern. It looks like it's random, but maybe not. Are they messages from aliens or an artist who drew them? I don't know, but what they know is that the strangest thing is that there are other similar drawings of random white lines too. And another strange drawing consisting of high circles surrounding warplanes. What's wrong? Who drew them? Who exactly drew them? Most people expect them to be strange aliens. People. But scientists believe that the Chinese use these things for spying. They use them in complex Chinese ways. Well, what about the circle with the planes in it, my mood? No one knows, but the belief is that they are Chinese experiments to hide warplanes. In short, they are all secret Chinese things, secret, and Google revealed them. What is this? Anyway, it's not just China that does this. There are also strange shapes in the American desert. These shapes were discovered by pilot George Palmer by chance. He was flying and looked down and saw them. But this is just the idea. The Native Americans drew it a long time ago. And why they drew it and what they believed in it, no one knows, and there are no Native Americans to ask them. The next one. 3. If you fly over the forests in Russia, you will feel that the trees will never end. A tall forest, thank God. Anyway, in 2016, a group in a helicopter discovered something unbelievable in the forest. They discovered a second helicopter. A helicopter in the forest in a no man's land? Why? And how? And was it flying when they discovered it? Was it an airplane? No, it wasn't flying. They found it submerged in the swamps. No, they found it old and its parts were missing, but it was suspiciously clean. I mean, who would come and go, and what exactly happened in this remote place? What happened is that in 1981, this helicopter was on a mission and ran out of gas, so it stopped to fill up. When it returned, it flew for only 5 minutes, and suddenly its engines failed, so it fell from a distance of 152 meters, and the energy died. No, they didn't die. Focus on the information. The crew wasn't harmed in any way. The helicopter was just broken, and the reason for the malfunction was that they filled it with gasoline and water by mistake, which ruined it. Since then, 40 years ago, it has remained in this state, destroyed and completely ruined. Okay, the question is, why didn't anyone come and get out of the forest? Because the cost of retrieving it from the forest was higher than the helicopter itself. Anyway, who else would be curious to know how the pilots got back from the forest safely? Who? Write to me, because it's impossible to get back from this forest in particular. It's not impossible, one of the 7 impossibilities. So how did they get back? No one knows, and no one mentioned the story at all. What's next is very strange. For archaeologists went digging in the El Magordo Desert in Mexico, and suddenly discovered something very strange for archaeologists. They discovered video games. If I were them, the important thing is they didn't just discover 1 or 2, they found more than 1,300 games. And the strangest thing is that most of them are for the same game. No, and the strangest thing is that their enemy is 1,300 eccentric scientists. By the way, the duplicate game is the Atari game at the Extra. And they also found other games and controllers, so they collected them all and sent them to the lab to find out why all these games are in the middle of the desert. I mean, who can explain to us why these games are in the middle of the desert? I'm moody, and the reason is that in 1983 there was a collapse in the world of games. People stopped buying games and game companies lost, especially Atari. Of course, they lost because of the emergence of home computers. And the game that lost the most was this game as usual, so it is considered one of the worst games in history. And Atari admitted the loss and got rid of all the games in its warehouses, so they got rid of more than 700,000 games in the landfill, and this is simply the story of the mountain of games. Honestly, if I found 700,000 toys, I would sell each one for 1 dirham. I would have 700,000 dirhams as an investment. The important thing is the next one. 5. It is not strange to find large rocks in the forest, but not to the extent of the giant rock that they found in Bosnia in 2016. This rock was literally giant, and the strangest thing about it was that it was completely spherical. I mean, Captain Majid doesn't see it as very spherical. It would have been very tempting to him. The important thing is that the archaeologist Samir Athman Katash discovered it, and began studying it for 15 years. He devoted his life to studying a round stone. After 15 years, he confirmed that an ancient civilization made it more than 1,000 years ago. The reason for his belief is that there are rocks similar to it in Costa Rica, and made about 1,000 years ago. The same thing simply. I mean, after 15 years of dedication, this is what caught his attention, but this is what he knew. And do you know what else? He's probably wrong, because this ball he found is twice the size of Costa Rica's rocks, and weighs more than 30 tons. How did it come from? And where? God knows, but the only thing known is that Samir wasted 15 years of his life in vain. He threw it away and threw it away. And the idiot, the mirror. 6. What do you see here? Sand, rocks, sand. This is the Tunisian desert. The last thing you would expect to find in this hot, scorching desert is cold, fresh water. Can you imagine the idea? In 2014, a Tunisian shepherd couple found this lake out of nowhere. It didn't exist before. Suddenly it appeared. This mysterious lake is known as Lake Gafsa. It is located 24 kilometers from the city of Gafsa in Tunisia. First, I hope I pronounced the name correctly. If I brought up the holiday with the word Gafsa, don't be mad at me, Tunisians. Second, try searching for this lake on Google. You will get the phrase, a lake that appeared under mysterious circumstances. Can you imagine? No, at first it was turquoise blue, but then it turned green and filled with algae. This means that the water is stagnant and has no source. I mean, everything about it is strange, but unfortunately with the passage of time it completely evaporated. It is very strange. The only explanation for it is that there was a strong earthquake that broke the rocks and the water exploded. I don't know at all, Tunisians. The subject is up to you. Write to me and explain the subject to us in full. Come on. Finally, in 2020, specifically during the days of Corona, there was an Argentine farmer taking care of his cows, and suddenly he saw something strange in the dry river. The thing was a strange giant dotted shell stuck to the riverbed. He quickly told his friends about the matter. His friends told their friends and their friends' friends and their friends' friends until it reached archaeologists. Scientists discovered, with the archaeologists, that these things are actually giant shells of dead creatures that have been extinct since ancient times. This extinct creature is called the tooth groove. Do you know what happened after scientists made this discovery? They all won a grand prize because they did not discover one fossil, but rather discovered 4 next to each other, and the 4 have been dead for 20,000 years. No, and one of them was about the size of a car, so they won a prize for this discovery. No, it is true that I mentioned something. Scientists said that these fossils were a family, a father, a mother, and 2 sons walking together, according to scientists, of course. And that's it. Scientists won, Argentina won, and all of humanity won with new information. The only one who lost and got out of the topic is the Argentinian farmer who found them first and ran among the people and started spreading the news about Kermis. About Kermis, he is the only one who lost and got out of the topic, idiot. Go everything as it is. And that's it with the groove of the teeth and the human being's hump. We will end this video. God willing you liked it. God willing you enjoyed it. If you liked it, don't forget to like it and don't forget to write why it was the thing you liked the most in this video and found strange in this video. As for me, the thing I liked the most was Lake Gafsa. Once again, God willing, I pronounced the name correctly. Anyway, why? Because it is an Arab lake and I am biased towards the Arabs. I love Arabs. I love everything Arab. And as for Mickey, why did they take my teeth? Because that is an animal. They took my teeth and this is an animal. So understand each other. Understand. Let me put on the glasses and finish the video. It's better. Bye. This is our part. Come on, thank you for watching. I love you very much in my mood. It was here. Bye.